Hi everyone, it's Diane. I am working on the Retro Fashion Atelier journals, and I have one cover glued together. So I showed pieces of this in yesterday's video, I guess it would have been, or maybe 2 days ago when you see this. So this is Stamperia Atelier paper that I'm using. But I took the plainer sides. It's not plain, but it doesn't have images and as much collaging. And I used them for the fronts of these journals so that I could do a collage on them. And these are actually images cut from a 1960s pattern catalog, Simplicity pattern catalog, which is really fun. Or was it McCall's? I think this one's McCall's. Anyway, there's a little bit of a McCall's pattern piece behind here, but it's a doll's dress. I like using the doll clothes pieces because you get like more of a full pattern piece with all the markings and everything, where a woman's size dress wouldn't have as much marking on it because there'd be a lot more space in between everything. Hope you understand what I'm saying there. So anyway, that's what I use back there. And I collaged some lace and these ladies, and I put this trim from Hobby Lobby. Comes on a roll like this. This was on clearance when I bought it, and I bought it quite a while ago. So they probably don't have it anymore, but this is the first I've actually used it. And I did paint a little Mod Podge on these ladies after I glued them down. And I like the way that they feel a little more solid, I guess, because they're just paper. And I didn't want to Mod Podge them to the card, to the cover, because of all the lace. I didn't want to put Mod Podge over the lace. So that's what I've done so far. And I have also made arrangements for the other two covers. I wanted to do that off camera so that I could just concentrate and think and not talk while I did it. So I've got these ready, but nothing is glued or sewn down. So we're at the sewing machine. Oh, and last night I cut out fussy cut a lot of images from my pattern catalog. So that took quite a while to do that, but I have plenty now that I can decorate pages and ephemera and pockets and stuff with these pretty ladies. So this page has more collage to it. I didn't want to use the brown side of this page, so I did use the collagey looking side. But I put a wide piece of pale blue lace, so it's very subtle. You have to look closely to see it. And on top of that, I put the pattern piece, and then this piece of vintage lace, and then this little bit of trim. Put the ladies on top of that, and then added a couple embellishments. So that's what we're going to make permanent right now. So you can see this is a very wide piece of lace. And here is the collaged page. So I am going to sew this to the page, to the cover. I think I will stitch right down the center to keep it in place because I don't want to use glue. And then I'll sew around it. There, we have the foundation down. I'm going to glue the pattern piece. I think I glued it, yeah. I'm going to glue the pattern piece, and then I'll have to let it dry before I sew anything else on so we can work on the third cover. I'm going to use this because I think it won't show through. I think that's what I used on the first one. Oh, you can't see what it is because it's in a frosting bottle. It is Beacon 2-in-1. It's just like Fabri-Tac by Beacon also. Alright, the next step would be to sew this on, but I don't want to sew through wet glue, so I'm going to set it aside, make sure I have all my pieces here. I'll set it aside and then get out the other book cover. Now this one, I have the pattern glued down. I think I could put it, yeah, I can put it on top. So I'm going to sew this piece of eyelet down. This is also a decorated side. I wonder if I should do it on this side. Yeah, we're going to do it on this side and let the decorated side show more. Again, I'll sew right down the middle. Oh, I tried to turn it and I didn't have the needle stuck down in there. I thought I did. I'm not going to leave threads on this book, on this journal, because it is representing a fashion studio, and they clip their threads. They don't leave threads hanging. Now I will glue this piece down. Let's see. I have this, and then this. So I can sew this piece down before I glue the pattern piece, and that will give the glue a little more time to dry on the other page. glue the pattern piece, and I'll glue the model. Some of the corners of these pattern pieces get folded under. This one was cut out, obviously, but it doesn't look like it was pinned onto anything. It's fun getting to use these images. I've had these books for several years and just didn't want to use them because I wanted them. I mean, I got them to use. I wanted to use them, but I didn't want to use them up. There are so many images, and I'm actually going to be putting some in my shop, some pages of a pattern catalog. I'm going to be putting them in my shop in a few days, so keep watching for them. So it's time to start using them. And I think I'll glue this down rather than sew it. I'm not going to glue this down yet, this pin, because I don't know if I might want to hang something from it. Threads everywhere. Whenever I vacuum, I have to cut threads and hair off of the roller part. So that one's done except for the pin, because I put that on instead of the button trim. Now I think this is dry. This glue dries pretty quickly, so I think we're safe. So I will sew this on. I think I want it to be that way. I think that's upside down because the scallops go this way, but I want that trim edge to show. So I'm going to put it on that way. I'm going to cut a little bit. See if I have that where I want it. Yeah, I think right there. Didn't want them to look like they were trying to sit on it. Make sure I am able to catch the lace and the trim at the same time. glue the ladies on, and I think I had the buttons down here and this lace up there. Yep. So when I cut this, it looks like it's knotted in between buttons, but maybe not, because when I cut it, the next button always falls off. And these are really loose. So I just put a dab of glue underneath each button. Oh, what I wanted to do, and I already glued on the other lady. Yeah, we'll just glue. I was going to try putting Mod Podge on the bottom, but I'm going to paint some Mod Podge on top. Just try to make sure I get the glue right out to the edge so all the edges are glued down flat. It's tricky because you don't want too much glue seeping out either. All right, now it's time for the Mod Podge. I brought the Mod Podge to this end of the table with me, but I want to get a little cup. Gotta put the stopper in my glue first. I want to get a little cup to pour the Mod Podge into. I buy these little mini cups. They come with lids, which I don't need. But I use these quite often for Mod Podge and paint and stuff like that. This is a big jar of Mod Podge and it's less than half full, and it's much easier to access it if I pour it out, and that's probably more than I need. Just gotta wipe some off my hands. I just got out a little paintbrush, just a cheap paintbrush that I'm going to paint the Mod Podge on with. There we go. Cover the pattern piece with it too. Okay, now I can let that dry. And I can paint this one. Sorry for bumping the camera. Then I can show you what I got out for fabric pieces. I don't think I'm going to do the typical fabric flips that I do, but I have some stamped muslin pieces that I already made. I already stamped on the muslin, and they're perfect for these journals. So I want to do something with them. I'll probably make, embellish them with other bits of lace and pieces of fabric, so it might end up being a fabric flip, but I want to make sure I feature the stamped muslin. They typically use muslin to make the pattern. They might use paper to cut a pattern, but sometimes they cut their pattern out of muslin, but they usually make a muslin outfit before they make it out of their expensive fabrics. So muslin is a big part of an atelier, a fashion atelier. So I'm using muslin inside the journal. I think in Britain they call it calico. Am I right about that? We call a printed cotton, usually with a small print, we call that a calico. Thank you for being patient while I paint Mod Podge. It's probably even more boring than watching someone paint or watching paint dry. Okay, now we can let that dry. Just wipe the Mod Podge off my brush till I can take it to the sink and pour this back into the jar. Set these aside so we don't mess them up. Okay, I've got some time left. Got about 20 minutes. So I went into my little box that I have here on my sewing table of muslin that I stamped quite a while ago. I did a lot of muslin stamping on a video, and I got into the box to see what I had. So I've got a bunch of them that say vintage style and stuff like that. So this says style vintage, mode au elegant, elegant styles. So those are perfect. Vintage style. Got a bunch of those. Vintage finds. These I didn't stamp. These were little pieces that you could buy at Michael's once upon a time. So I've got two with the Eiffel Tower because it's a French atelier, because it's a French word. So just in case, I don't know if I use them. There's a crown. And then I have these elegant ladies. That I thought would be fun. And this one. In a dress form. And that one, I love that one. And that one. So we'll do something with these. And I got out some fabrics and some laces. So let's take this one that I love. See what we can do with this. I wonder if I should have gotten out my ribbon. Let me grab my ribbon. There's a velvet ribbon in blue. There's a blue, a cream. There's a brown. So I will take this Pico, satin and Pico blue ribbon, put it along the side. I have space along the side. So I'll put that there and a little scrap of ribbon. That looks pretty, just like that. I think it needs a button or something. So I have a jar of brown and a jar of blue, and this is just a jar of miscellaneous vintage buttons. Ooh, look at that one. That might be too big though. Too thick. That one looks pretty, the little flower. Usually if I zoom in too much, then I end up getting out of camera. I think I might use that. So I'll get my snips out and cut the shank off and just glue that on there. Now, let's do one with this. So I have the same image stamped, but I left space at the bottom of one. See, there I go, out of frame. And space at the top for the other one, so we can do different things. Where are my little bits of lace that I got out? I want to keep this much of it, but I can't put it to the top, right to the top. Oh, got another piece there that I can cut off. I guess those were two pieces sewn together. If I put it right at the top, then it'll hang over their faces, so I can move it up and just sew it at the top of the muslin and not the top of the lace. You know what I mean? Okay, do I need anything else on this? That's pretty. We'll just put it on. Doesn't have to go all the way across. Just add a little color to it. Not moving. Now I can put something at the bottom of this one about this champagne color. This is pretty. I guess that's darker than champagne, isn't it? just going to fray that a little bit. Just for fun, I think I'll put that little snippet on there. Just happened to see it lying there on my desk. How about one of our elegant ladies? I did do an elegant lady, didn't I? Which one did I do? Nope, I guess I didn't yet. I don't need a ton of these because I'm only doing 3 one signature journals. I think I will take this. Now this was a scrap of something. It's got a little piece of bias tape or something sewn there. So it came off of a garment or something. And I stamped vintage style on it. It's kind of big for that though. Let's look for a smaller one. I like that it was white in contrast to the cream colored muslin. This is the same thing, the same kind of fabric, and I don't want to cut that. I want to leave that seam binding piece there. And this is a seam right here. It's a shaped seam, like it's part of a collar or something. So I don't want to cut that either. So is this one. But I think I can cut this one a little bit and still keep that edging at the bottom. Sorry. Don't want to cover up her face. Can I just use it over here? That little button. Again, I would have to cut the shank off it. Just found this. That would be lovely there. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. again, I will cut the shank off that button and glue it there. I think I might be able to do one more. Let's try this one. I guess I'll make 6 altogether, so I have 2 for each journal. Maybe I'll just do something with this. If I put that underneath the lace, you can see the little hint of color, and it doesn't cover up the lace. Looks better with the blue. I already cut this to the right length, so let me see if I like this one. I think I liked this one just because it's a little bit bigger. Yeah, that looks better. I keep cutting this one into small pieces and not using it. But it will get used, never fear. That's cute, isn't it? Oops, there we go. My brace collects the threads. Alright, let's look at the button situation. Oh my goodness, those are so pretty. I think I have to go with that. And I think that I have to stop the video before my camera shuts off. So I didn't use any of the fabric that I got out. I just used my muslin and some laces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have to make one more. What did that go to? Yeah, I might make a few more and just have them in my stash while I'm here with all my stuff out. So we've done our covers, and we've gotten a start on the fabric pieces that will go inside. I hope that you have found this inspirational and that you will come back to see more in the next video. Thank you so much for watching and have a creative day. Bye-bye.